Hello, you are listening to the Childcare Director's Chair podcast. Your host, Erica Sacosio, invites you to join her community of passionate and inspiring leaders in the ECE field, where she discusses, reflects, and shares the best ways to invest in our children, families, teachers, and community. Because after all, we know they are the heartbeat of any successful program.
How do extraordinary teachers turn classroom challenges into life-changing moments, and how can administrators better support their success? Today, we are going to talk with an amazing pre-K teacher. We're going to discuss how extraordinary teachers can manage behavior, impact lives, and make a difference for all children, communities, and overall success of your childcare center. Today's episode is going to be amazing. So welcome to the Childcare Director's Chair podcast. I'm your host, as always, Erica Sacosio. In today's episode, we're going to dive into the heart of what makes an extraordinary pre-K teacher and explore how effective classroom management techniques can create environments where children thrive, truly thrive, and that's so important. So join us as we sit down with the one and only Mr. J, the visionary behind Teacher Talk Thursdays. With over 100K followers, he shares secrets of exceptional teaching practices. And today he is here to discuss how administrators, just like you, can have a pivotal role in supporting your teachers in your program and making lasting impacts on children's families, children's lives and families. So welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be here. Welcome. I am your kid's favorite pre-K teacher, Mr. J. I'm so glad to be a part of this podcast today.
So we're super excited. So for those of you that don't know, I met Mr. J in Texas at the Born to Teach conference, which Latrice, shout out. That was one of the best conferences I have ever gone to. So fun. The other thing too, I wanted to say from my heart is I just love what you do. I talk a lot about supporting male educators, and thank you so much for inspiring all the young male educators out there. And I want to acknowledge that. And
Thank you.
and your name, your nickname there, your child's favorite pre-K teacher. I can see why. And after today's episode, they will see why too.
I hope so.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your background in early childhood education and what really inspired you to create the Teacher Talk Show.
So we're gonna go into the background a little bit. So the background was I never wanted to be a ECE teacher. I always wanted to be a secondary mathematical teacher. If I ever was a teacher, I was actually a club promoter before I even came into this business. But with a lot of things happening with that, God showed me his plan for me and put me inside that classroom with these babies. And as I got older and grew, I learned that it was where I needed to be. So I did have a Down syndrome brother, which was my old brother who was deceased in 2011 because of his disability. And I always tell people when I go out and do professional development, he's my why, because I want to continue living his legacy that he didn't get to enjoy. He only lived to the age of 21. Most don't live past that age. So with that being said, I lost a lot of love in coming inside of a classroom where I was in a pre-K classroom where it was so much love from them babies that they showed me at that time that I kind of, forgot all about all the bad pain and started accepting all the grace that came with me just being in that classroom with those babies. And I accepted that calling. And I'm 10 years in the game now, and I love it. But I give all the glory to God for being there and changing me and being placed on my heart, and understanding that I did have a good heart for teaching, and this was my calling. So I'm accepting it now. I love being here. I love educating the community, especially in the ECE field, because it's actually 1% of males that even think about coming to do it. So I feel like I'm being the example, and that's one of my mottos. That's one of my slogans and things. Like I want to be the example to not only myself but to my whole community.
I think you're definitely doing that. You're definitely doing that. I've seen it firsthand. And I love your story. And you know what's so interesting, as I talk to educators all over the country, so many of us come to the field in a way that is unexpected. Not all of us just wake up one day and go, I think I want to be a teacher. That's not how it happens for so many of us. And then you don't even know that it's going to consume your life. You don't know until you get in that room and you're like, it's like, oh my God, like this is just, it's like nothing else.
And
it's not
love,
like, yes.
the love you get from it's different. Like I know this is a predominantly women field, but when younger kids see a male present in there in front of them right there, it's different type of love that it is, because most of them don't have that at home.
Yep.
Most of them don't have that when they go to grandma or auntie house. So when they can get somebody like that really care for them, that really nurture them, that really let them know that he care and he want to know what's wrong and he want to fix it for you, like that's a different type of love, because they don't get that. That's not the norm. So the love I get from my students is, like I say,
beyond measure.
Special.
It's beyond measure. Yeah, it's beyond. Yeah. The other thing I was going to say is that I feel like and that is a very valid point, but I feel like what I have seen in my experience, even if they have a great role model at home, even if they have a dad at home who's there and active, like, can't you have more than one positive role model? Right. So I think
it's not the norm, but yes.
Yes. Yeah. So I think, I see it every day with Mr. Shea. He comes in literally with my daughter. And sometimes the kids will just not acknowledge my daughter. It's like, Mr. Shea's here. It's like, so yes, you're right. There's a different energy that comes with a male educator. Energy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, and what made me create Teacher Talk Thursday, I'm going to get a little bit on that, is because once I seen that other educators was basically using some of my strategies and some of my resources, which I kind of started using other teachers' strategies and resources and just made it my own to make these great resources and strategies. But once I seen that other teachers was using it and it was working for them, I wanted to give other educators a platform. We don't have a platform where we can just be educators and speak our mind about education, because we always worrying about what the school system going to say. We're going to be looked at it because we're supposed to be role models. We're supposed to be superheroes. We are superheroes and role models. That doesn't mean we're not human. That doesn't mean we don't go through things. So I wanted to use my platform, because I wouldn't have my platform if it wasn't for the following. So I feel like I want to use my followings to help everybody understand that we all are facing the same thing in the world, but this is how I handle it, this is how you handle it, this is how they handle it over there in a third world country. So it's all the same problem, but we got different resources and strategies that we use, and let's come together and educate the world. Why not?
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's probably why we connected so much, because I too am very much like a community builder. And I think it is important for us to share resources and what we know, right? There's young folks can bring some new ideas. So old people, listen up. And young folk, the old folk know some things too, right? Work together. That's how you make an amazing program. That's how you get longevity with your staff. That's how you get a team that buys in to what you're doing at your program.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So can you share some of the specific strategies or techniques that exceptional teachers use to engage their students?
Yeah, so I have a lot of attention grabbers that I love to use, and they're very, very engaging. They are very, very funny and silly, but they old school. I'm originally from Alabama. I've been staying in Georgia for 10 years, but I'm originally from Alabama, so I'm old school and new school. I'm young, but I was raised by my grandparents, so I got that old school in me too. So I go back to commercials. I don't know if you remember this commercial, but if you do, you can say it with me. But it's Red Robin.
Yum.
You see what I'm saying? Well, I'm gonna go all the way back. I'm gonna give you one. Let's see if you know this one. Oh, O'Reilly.
Auto Parts.
Wow. See what I'm saying? See, and these are the little silly things that I do with my students in the classroom, and they love it. And I tell teachers all the time, if we love doing something silly, the kid's gonna love it 10 times harder. They're gonna be like, "Oh my God, our teacher is really silly. He one of us. He's not always serious. He's not always telling us no. He's not always telling us to go sit down. He's not always telling us to be quiet. But he's in here being silly with us." So I also got this one. Let's see if you know this one. So have you ever watched Lion King?
Yep.
So do you remember when the hyenas used to say, when Scar used to say Mufasa, and the hyenas used to be like, ooh, Mufasa, every time he said it? So
Hmm.
now when I get in the classroom with my students, I say, Mufasa, Mufasa. And all of my students be like, ooh, Mufasa. You see, so it's just like I
Yeah.
say, it's just what you how intentional you are as a teacher to make your classroom environment positive and a fun and silly one. If you're fun, like I tell them all the time, I become a 4 and 5 year old when I go in that classroom. When I get out my car, I'm a 4 and 5 year old. I can't go in there as the adult Mr. J, because the adult Mr. J ain't gonna accept what a 4 and 5 year old gonna do for that day. I have to turn into a 4 and 5 year old to be able to accept what they're going to do and still be able to teach them in a positive way, in a way where I'm not belittling them and making them feel smaller than what they already are, but I'm uplifting them and changing their life and giving them life skills. Okay, this is how you do this, and now let's keep going. Let's continue.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, that's amazing. And I think that not only the children are probably excited to work with you, I bet the grown-ups are as well.
Yes,
Right? There's
yes.
nothing like having a good vibe in a classroom, a nice, our job can be stressful, right? And
Oh my
having a good
God.
laugh and having a smile and having a partner that brings great energy and is lighthearted
Yes,
can make life a lot better for everybody
yes.
in the building. Everybody in the building. I have this director, her name is Angela, and she has this like dumb dad joke calendar on her desk, and I will like look through it, and sometimes I'll call my other locations and I'll be like, hey, I got a real problem. Tell him a dumb joke and he's not laughing, but it's just a great way to start the day with some positive energy, right? It doesn't always have to be doom and gloom, or like you said. And
Right.
I bet the relationships, like think about how the way that you do it, the relationships that you must have with your students has to be
All of
right.
them.
Yeah,
Yes.
I bet
You
it
build
is.
chemistry with all of them because they give in. Once they see you one of them, mostly that's human in general, even grown people. Once we see somebody that have the same characteristics and the same liking that we do, we try to we kind of gravitate to them like, oh, we kind of like the same things. Let's do more things together. That's how the kids are. Oh, you silly? Oh, you like to play with trucks, Mr. J? Oh, you like to dance and jump and clap, Mr. J? Oh yeah, you are our friend. So now I didn't got indicted in. Now I'm one of
Yeah,
the pre-care. So
yeah.
now I got to be the best pre-care I can be.
Too, I think when you do that, you're able to know your students and tap into their interests. So
Oh,
that makes me think
they're
about
gonna
it.
tell you everything.
Yes,
They're
they
gonna tell
are.
you everything.
Yeah, so I'm gonna age myself for a minute, but I can remember I had some school age teachers who told me these kids didn't want to do anything. All they want to do is be on computers. That's all they wanted to do. And I said, nope. And they said, well, I said, what's on your curriculum today? They said, it was a scavenger hunt. I said,
Hmm.
okay, watch this. I went in the office. I downloaded a whole bunch of Pokemon characters, and they went out in the backyard. I hid them all over the place. I said, we're going to go on a scavenger hunt. Now, this is when they had like this app. Now, I'm really dating myself, but they had like some app that you walked around, and I don't know the right word. You would walk around neighborhoods and you could find little like things in the neighborhood that would show up on your computer. Anyway, so they said, oh, they don't want to do anything. And they did. And they said, well, how did you know they were going to do it? I said, because they like Pokemon. So as soon as I said we were going to look for Pokemon, they were interested in doing what, because I knew what they liked. And
And
so
that's what
that,
I do.
yes,
That's what I do.
yes.
That's what I do. This is the first 2 weeks of school. That's all I've been doing. Learning interests, learning what they like, learning what they don't like, learn what makes them cry, learn what don't make them cry, learn what they like to do a little bit, learn what they don't like to do a little bit. So once you learn all of these things about them, it's easier to go on a social emotional side and be able to meet them where they at. I'm going to get down on their level.
Yeah. And you can also just differentiate your approach for
Yes,
individual students as you need. So
yes.
for the naysayers out there who are like, oh, how do you create, a balance of creating fun environment while also maintaining structure and discipline? What would you say to
Discipline.
those?
I have this thing where I let them talk real loud because majority all teachers tell you to do what? Be quiet. Stop talking. I'm trying to concentrate. Or y'all not listening to me. I'm trying to give directions. I let my students talk. I let them talk as loud as they want to. When the first thing I get in the classroom, that's what we're doing, talking. Go ahead and talk to your friends. Talk. Get it out. Oh, okay, we done talking. Let's scream now. Let's scream to the top of our lungs. Let's get it out. Because if you allow them to go ahead and do it, then they're not going to have the urge to do it all day, every day. Because they're like, oh, Mr. J already let us scream already. We did screaming. Why we need to scream now? Unless something hurt or we hurt, anything like that. But I allow them to do that. And once I allow them to do that, I have this technique called 5. So 5 means stop. Anytime I say 5, they know that means stop. That means I don't have to say shh. I don't have to say be quiet. I don't have to say we don't really should be saying this, but shut up, hush, go sit down. Only thing I have to say is 5, they stop moving, and I say finger. When I say finger, they say shh. That's it. I didn't say nothing but 5 and finger. And them are strategies that I use in the classroom. Like I said, I let them talk. We run around in the classroom. If y'all don't believe me, y'all can go to your kid's favorite pre-K teacher on Instagram and find these videos that I'm talking about. But listen, you have to allow them to have a moment where they're being a 4 and 5-year-old, but also teach them how to control themselves and self-regulation in the classroom. No matter how small, like I said, I'm doing this in pre-K. I know 4th and 5th grade don't have self-regulations. They don't know how to control their body. They don't know how to stop with signals and strategies. So with that being said, is if you're an intentional teacher, this is what you should be doing. These are the type of strategies you should be implementing in your classroom, but definitely implementing with your students, because you're going to find out their interests. Once you start doing fun, engaging activities, giving them fun, engaging topics, they're going to get engaged into whatever you're talking about. They're going to start loving you, because you don't have to have the interest, but just because you say, oh, I know what that is about, they're going to be like, oh man, my teacher know exactly what this is. It build chemistry. It build relationships. And once you build that relationship with them, you can they allow you to teach them anything, even pre-Kers. And then we talking about 4 and 5-year-olds, sometimes 3.
Yeah. So I know a lot of teachers right now are struggling with like behavior management. So you have any ideas or tips for, those who maybe are struggling with, some techniques? Maybe they're new teachers, or maybe they're just the old way isn't working for them like it used to. So what would
Yes.
you think? And we want to have that positive classroom environment at the same time.
Yes. So, because every classroom not gravy like that. And when I say gravy, it ain't gonna just be smooth. It ain't gonna be smooth all the time. I done had smooth classroom, and then I had classroom that's been okay. I got 1 or 2 challenging behavior problems. And normally what I do, I've been trained in my early years of teaching pre-K on using seeds. And that is socio-emotional early childhood development, where you basically focus on the child from the socio-emotional side. So every challenging behavior child has something emotionally that they're going through that they're trying to get out. It's a way of showing hurt. It's a way of showing feelings and emotions. So instead of looking at, oh man, this kid bad, oh man, this kid always cursing and coming to school, you don't know what that kid environment is at home. And I know it's hard to look at a kid like that, because this kid always comes to school and this kid always doing things that is challenging. But if you can ever have a good conversation with that kid, or sit down with that kid, or one day just offer the kid something to eat or anything, you'll never know what a kid will really tell you or allow you to do for them, because of that fact. You have to get down on their level socially and emotionally to understand what they're going through. Some kids don't want to tell you what's wrong with them until 2 days after. Some kids will wait 4 or 5 months until they feel like you're safe to tell it. You just got to be able to be adaptable. You got to be able to be willing. No matter how negative the situation is, you have to try to make it a positive one in a teachable moment. So with Mr. J, I'm not going to tell y'all that this strategy is going to work every time with every child. But what I do want to say is, if you can just take a moment out to see and just observe a child, observing is the best thing, and just watch a child and take a paper trail of what a child is doing, constantly doing every day, all day, it's going to allow you to know exactly what this child is going through. And once you get to the bottom of that, you're going to look at that child different, and you're going to love them different. But you need to love them different from the beginning. You need to
Yeah.
go ahead and love them from the beginning, because don't wait until you find out the story and then you want to love them. That's the difference between Mr. J and other teachers. They wait until they find out about the story. And then they say, oh, I want to love on this kid and show this kid affection and give this kid some resources and strategies. No. Why we didn't have that same love and passionate for that kid before they got, because you got to understand that's not regular behavior. Something is going on. Let me observe that first. I'm always thinking about how can I do my strategies and my resources way before I think about calling a parent, calling DHR, calling anybody to have a negative situation, because I'm always trying to bring anything that's negative in my classroom and making it into a positive. I don't care how long I got to wait. I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
And also allowing yourself to learn interests. Sometimes you'll say, "Oh, little Johnny like to bring monster trucks. They make him bad every day." But if now don't tell your owners I said that. But if you can use that truck as some positive bribery and allow that baby to know, hey, if you want this truck right here that you like playing with in the centers every day, we need you to at least go and try to trace your J one time for us, and we'll let you go play that, because that once he showed me he can, little Johnny showed me he can do it. Oh, he can't go back on me. He done showed me his hand now. So no matter if I got that truck or not, now I know you can do it. So that's just in my way. I'm always finding interest. But I'm finding a positive way to get in there. I'm not going with the negative with negative, because that ain't gonna do no but
Yeah.
bust open and explode. I'm going with a positive mindset every time, because I know I can reach a kid. I'm willing to do that. Like I said, I had a Down syndrome brother that didn't know how to do a lot. He didn't know how to write. He did not know how to play sports. I mean, he'll run and maybe trip over himself. So I had to be patient. I had to learn patience. I had to learn to be willing to want to teach, to be willing to want to understand, because he had a speech delay as well. So them things taught me how to be different. I'm a parent first, and then I'm a teacher. So when you drop your babies off at me, I'm treating your baby. I'm going with that love first.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I mean,
Yes,
that's
sir. Yeah, for sure. So I want to go way, way back. There's two things I want to add to what you said. The first thing you said, not all classrooms are gravy. Well, you're from the South, right? You say you're from the South?
yeah.
Yep. So the best gravy has some lumps in it. I must say that.
Hey,
All right.
yes, they
Yes,
do got a
right.
little lumps in it.
So,
Now, got a little
not
lumps in it.
everything got to be smooth, right? Sometimes that lumps helps also you grow as a teacher, as a professional. And sometimes you need those lumpy classrooms to really understand what it is that you're doing. So take that
We
as a
need them to
blessing.
grow.
We do. Yeah. We need them to grow. The other thing, you had said give them a snack. And there's one student in particular that I can think of. And when I was training some new staff this summer, I said, I'm going to change her name, Susie. There's three things. If Susie's crying, there's three things and three things only that you need to know. She needs a hug, a snack, or a nap. One of those three things works every single time with her. And I'll ask her, and she
But
knows.
why do you know that? How do you know that?
Because
How do you know that?
that's like, this is my baby. They're my babies. I made sure that I knew that.
And you know
Trial
that
and
from the
error.
instinct.
Yeah,
You're
trial
a
and
parent.
error. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it works every time. And they thought it was funny. And the first day they met her, I didn't even have to say their name. And they went, "That's Susie." I said, "Sure is. Sure is." And the cute little teacher, Miss Hope, she was so nice. She came over and she's like, "I see you're upset." She's like, "Are you hungry?" She's like, "Yeah, I want a cheese stick." That was it. She stopped crying. She's like, "I can't believe it." It was it. It was it. It was as simple as that. She
It's all about
got off
it's
the
all
school
about
bus and was
willing.
hungry. Yeah.
Yes, it's all about willing. You got to be able to understand. You got to be able to understand. You got to have a different lens looking. And like I said, I go in with my parent lens, and then I go with my teacher's lens. So
Yeah.
I'm going in. Some of us just got our teacher's lens on all day that we can't see what a parent need to see to understand a baby that's going through something mentally that they need your help. They crying out for
Mm,
help, but you're trying to be such a adult, and you want them to follow everything you say per se. And sometimes I want to just say that sometimes you do just have challenging behavior students that just want to be rebellious,
yeah. Yeah.
but still finding out something that interests them will
Yeah.
keep you going, because ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of positive bribery. I'm gonna say that one more time. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't hurt nobody. Only thing they did is made crying stop and big smiles happen.
Yeah. So, how important is consistency in classroom management, and what are some ways
Ooh,
teachers can maintain it? Yeah, because I
ooh,
see that
Lord.
too, right?
So yes. So just like them things I was just telling you about the attention grabbers, the little rituals and songs I make in the classroom. None of those things would work if I only did it the first day of school. It works because every day I come in, we're not only doing what I just told you, but we're gonna add on to it to make it fun and fun. So every day I come in, they're gonna expect what? Something fun to happen. I let them run around the classroom. I say five. I let them talk. I say 5. All right, today we're gonna hop like bunnies. Let's do it. Get that
Yep.
energy out.
Hmm.
Every day I'm doing something. But you think if I go in there and do it one day that we're gonna have a great classroom environment? No. Because the one time I say no, we ain't doing that today, you know what's gonna happen? We're gonna have some chaos. We're gonna have some challenging behaviors. We're gonna have baby emotional and crying because they want to have fun. Why would I take fun out of the classroom when that's what we need? We think that we're just supposed to educate, educate, educate. Yes, we do. But how can
Yeah.
you educate without having a fun, positive environment to be educated in? So
Yeah.
I'm all about just definitely just making sure that I'm retaining and we going over and we repetition and we doing this over and over, and I allow them to move the schedule. I allow my babies to move the schedules so they understand what the routine is. They see it every day. So if Mr. J ain't there, you can't come in my classroom and say, "Oh, well, we just gonna skip over small group today and just go outside." They're gonna say, "No, no, 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 no." Mr. J say boom, 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 boom because it's a routine every day.
Yeah.
They built that routine. They
Yeah.
know that routine. They not even gonna
Yeah.
let one of their classmates mess up that routine. So repetition is very, very important. Very, very important. And if you
Yeah.
if you think that you can do something in one day and it's gonna stick with them, it's never gonna stick with them. It's gonna stick with them for that one day, then it's gone, then you're gonna try to do it again. They're gonna be like, what? But if you do it every day, it's gonna work for you.
Yeah. Can you provide an example of a time, or either yourself or a teacher that you know that's used your strategies, and how you've made a significant difference in the life of a child in your classroom?
Um yes, so I have I don't have several students that couldn't speak English in my classroom. And they came inside of the classroom, being they was actually female, so they was terrified. I was standing all over them, tall, what I mean, deep voice, so I intimidated them a lot. And like I say, with me understanding my social emotional skills and me making my classroom a positive environment, she watched how the other kids kind of adapted to me and loved on me from a distance. And I always walk past her and say, hey, how you doing? I love your dress today. I always gave her affirmations every day. She never said one thing because she couldn't speak English. So I did that all year. And her mom would come home and her mom would come to school and tell me everything that I had taught the day before. And I was like, so is she listening? She said, Mr. J, she come home and try to react and be just like you every day. But the little girl never said anything to me, and she would never move. She would just stand there and just look. She would just stand there and look, and I never forced her. And it came all the way into April, May, when it was almost time to graduate. She started talking to me like, hey, Mr. J, I
Oh,
wrote my name. I'm done with my paper. Hey, Mr. J, look, I opened my milk. She started saying everything the other kids were saying because she had observed so much
that's
from
awesome.
how I was teaching, how I was migrating the classroom. So not only did I change her life, but I changed her mom life because her mom couldn't speak English either. So once she learned everything that I was teaching her, she was going home and teaching her mom, reacting who I was. That was probably one of the most inspirational things I had ever had happen to me ever. And the fact that she went out of the classroom crying and hugging on me and basically telling me she loved me from a kid that just stayed in one spot and didn't move, that was big time for me.
That's awesome. So I want to piggyback on that. So let's talk about the role that teachers play in building strong relationships with families.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when, like I say, what I just did, I thought I was only just helping that child, but when you're an intentional teacher, there's no way you can help a child without helping the family. There's no way. Every child I done taught, I've been invested with the family because I'm working with their child. There's no way I can't be invested with some type of positive relationship, because they're gonna either not accept what my educational style, or they're gonna be like, Mr. J, your educational style have my daughter or my son to the up level. And that's what I want to be. And I'm gonna make sure they hold me accountable. It's all about accountability. So I hold myself accountable about having a positive relationship with my parents. Because if I got a positive relationship with the parents, I can ask them for anything. Can you help this? Can you do that for them? Can you make sure that they do this right here at night? But if I ain't got no type of relationship or a negative relationship with the parents, they're not gonna never come to know school meetings. They're not gonna never help the kids. They're not gonna care about nothing that I care about because I'm gonna be too intentional for them. So I try my best to always have a positive relationship and be intentional for them.
Yeah. So let's pick on the bosses for a minute. Because that's who listens to the show a lot. A lot of folks either own the center or are directors. So let's do that. So how can you, in your opinion, as an exceptional teacher, how can administrators support pre-K teachers like you? Because everybody's talking about staff are leaving or no one wants to work or everybody's migrating to the public school. How can we as childcare owners help support your efforts in creating amazing classrooms?
I'm going to say support. The word is support. A lot of owners don't show support. They may put a lot in their business and things like that, but they don't support the teachers. And when you don't support the teachers, it shows. And sometimes, because I've been around so many owners, I've been around so many owners and I've seen and heard so many things. Sometimes it is not even about how you treat your staff. Sometimes you just got the wrong team. But how can you support a good intentional teacher like Mr. J? Show me some support. If I come with you with a strategy or some resources, I'll say, hey, I don't know. I can't reach this child right here and things like that. Do you have any type of training resources? Guide me to a way. If you don't know the way, guide me to somebody who may know the way. Like, show us some support. If we lacking resources in the classroom, we lacking resources in the classroom. But the order we can't make an order until 6 months from now. Show some support. Go out and get some Dollar Tree things and be like, hey, I seen this at the Dollar Tree. Boom, boom, boom. I've seen plenty principals do it all the time. So you're not doing it as an owner, just showing me, hey, you don't want to invest in your classroom. You don't want to invest in the teacher that's in the classroom. So that means that let me know you don't want to be invested in the kids learning or what's even going on in this classroom. Show me. Action speaks louder than words. You can't say I'm putting all this and make the outside look good when the inside is nothing.
Yeah.
And what you have on the inside, you paying poo change, but you trying to make the outside and the grass look good. Forget that grass. Let's get the kids on the insides good first. And the only way you can get the kids, you got to be able to support the teachers. If in order to get an intentional teacher, you have to show them that you have to be intentional with them. Hold them accountable. Allow them to hold you accountable. If you say you're going to make an order, you're going to do that for them and things like that, you're going to come in and support. You're going to give them the right training. Don't wait 2, 4, 5, 6 weeks of months, but let it go by and you still don't handle it. Go handle that. Handle it. Show your teacher that you support them and you don't feel like you're above them. A lot of owners treat teachers as if they're above them. Yeah. And that's what makes teachers be like, oh, well, you don't need me. You think you better than me. Boom, I'm going to go find me another job. And then they go work with some. And what happened with teachers, we go find another job and then we get paid less. So both of y'all both of them messed up the blessings. You see what I'm saying? So it's all bad. And I've been one of the teachers. I've been one of those teachers that done that. I've seen owners who have done that as well. So I'm speaking from a teacher standpoint. Yeah. But when I say if you want someone intentional, you want somebody to go all out for you, you have to show some type of support. You have to show some type of, okay, I'm gonna invest in whatever you're investing in, especially if it's positive and it's flowing and the family's loving and the kids are learning. You gotta invest in that. And a lot of owners don't want to invest in that. They don't want to pay for it. They don't want to support it when they have it. And then when they have it, they misuse it. It's a lot. And then, like I say, for the teachers that's just not coachable or teachable, that's just to be the ones that just don't need to be on your team. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good advice. I think the other thing too is beyond the grass, beyond the supplies, investing in the teacher themselves, whether it's you're covering their class and you're sending them out to a conference, or whether it's they're making sure that their mental health is okay, right? And some people might need to work a 4-day week. Don't make them feel bad that they need a break, right? You don't want them yelling and hollering and all that. They're human beings, like you said way at the beginning, because I was paying attention. They're human beings, right? We're all human beings. We all have our days. So I think it's also being intentional in supporting, yes, with your money, Yes, with the resources and training, but then also with your heart. You've got to take care of your people. It's
Right.
suppose that.
Right. You can't have all that money and no heart. It's not gonna never work for you. You
Yeah.
can't be around kids with money with no heart. It don't
Yeah.
work. It
Yeah.
don't match. So, and that's where I break through from. If I see you just all about money, no heart, I gotta go because I'm all heart first. And then money come behind that because I know my heart gonna put me in places where I need to be. The money gonna take me in places I don't need to go.
Yeah. Yeah. So what message or advice would you like to leave with our listeners about making a positive impact, or give us your lasting pieces of
My
advice?
last thing is we talked about love, and I talked about loving the students in the beginning and not waiting until the end. I have my motto that I live by, and I go by as an educator, as a parent, as a man in the universe, as a African American man in the universe. Never look down on someone unless you're helping them up. And that goes for humans, adults, teenagers, preteens, and kids. Never look down on someone unless you're helping them up, because you never know. You never know when you might need that person, or you may be in a position where that person can be able to help you. Never look down on nobody, and you never know, you could be in that same situation any day. Any day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I learned that from watching my brother grow and not having enough time to do that. So, and I look, and I felt like I looked down on him because he didn't have everything I have, and I was so young, I ain't know no better. So I live by that, and I want to teach people: don't look down on nobody unless you're gonna be helping them and teaching them and encouraging them that they got it. They still can keep going, and that's what I'm leaving my message off right there with.
Okay. So tell our listeners about Teacher Talk Thursdays and how listeners can connect with your platform. How can they get involved? How can they see
All
what
right,
you're
so
about?
you all can follow me at You Are Your Kid's Favorite Pre-K Teacher. And every Thursday at 7:30 to 8:30, we do have a Teacher Talk Thursday. I invite teachers, I invite authors, I invite community helpers, I invite librarians. It don't matter what you're doing in education or what you're doing for the youth. I will want you to come on. You can be an owner, childcare owner. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're doing in your community for the youth to make the community better, to make the youth better, you're coming on Teacher Talk Thursday to show the world what you're doing and your strategies and your resources. Because like I said, we all are facing the same things and same situations, but we are all handling them so differently. And with us putting all our ideas and our mistakes and our growth all together, we can't do nothing but educate the world.
Yeah. And where do they listen to Teacher Talk? Is it on Instagram, YouTube? Where do they find it?
So Teacher Talk Thursday is on Instagram only right now. It will transfer over to YouTube, but right now it's strictly on IG on Instagram. So like I said, you can find me at your kid's favorite pre-K teacher. All right. My name is Mr. J. You can type it in there. Guys, you find me. Look at the videos. Get in my DM, comment, let me know what you think. If is it resourceful for you? Is it great strategies for you? Tell me if I can add anything on. Let's collaborate. Let's talk about it. And let's also get you on Teacher Talk Thursday so you can tell me just about your week, about what you have in classroom, what your theme is. If you're having family issues, let's get to the bottom of it. And definitely my men. Let's get y'all back in these classrooms. Let's get more men back in the classroom. So I'm definitely asking all men to come on this platform. Go to your kid's favorite pre-K teacher. Get in my DM and let's talk about it. Let's get you on Teacher Talk Thursday.
That sounds awesome. To my listeners who tune in literally every day, I love you so much. If this is your first time tuning into our podcast, thank you for stopping in. Please tell a friend, a colleague, share. If you love this particular episode, go ahead, give us a rating on either Apple or Spotify, your favorite place to consume content. And of course, we are also on YouTube. And remember, it's the little details that make a big difference in the success of your child care business. That's all for today. As always, have a great day. Bye.
Well, all the cute little kiddos have been picked up and it's time to go home. And that'll do it for another episode of the Childcare Director's Chair. Please leave a review so Erica knows the information is helping you to manage and improve your childcare centers. Remember to subscribe to get the latest episode from Erica's Childcare Director's Chair.